my loves, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. Hi, hello, my name is Loey, and today I have a pretty creepy video for you. It was a very excited intro for a pretty dark and scary video. But that's how it always is, right? I'm just so excited to talk to you guys all of the time about literally everything beauty, fashion, scary stuff. So I hope you guys are ready to hear some truly scary stories, scary true stories, I should say, about the Ouija board gone wrong. Really quickly before we get into this video, you guys, I never do this, but if you are not already subscribed and part of the family, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications if you truly love my videos and want to see them as soon as I upload them. YouTube has been having some bugs recently that I won't bore you about because you've probably already heard about them. But when you guys like, comment, and subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications, it helps more than you could ever realize. And just watching us grow, we're getting so close to 1.4 million on YouTube. That is crazy to me. We may already be there by the time that I posted this video. It just makes me so excited, and I love you guys so much. You mean the literal world to me. So make sure to take a moment and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. This first one is called The Sun from Beyond. While babysitting, I was playing with a board, and when asked if there was anyone with us, it spelled out the name Zach. When the dad asked me how the night went, I told him what happened, and he looked like he was going to be sick. He turned to me and said that they had a son named Zachary that had passed away when he was 4. The chills that ran through me made me nearly pass out. That is so sad more than anything, and I feel like I always have that kind of reaction to these stories where it's like a loved one visits. I think 9 times out of 10 people are pretty freaked out by them. Meanwhile, I'm just like, that's so sweet and so sad. The next one is called The Motherly Love. I went to a friend's house and they were using a Ouija board. When we asked who was there, the planchette spelled out the initials of my mother, who had passed away about 6 months earlier. Then the pointer kept going back and forth between the numbers 5 and 1, and my mother was 51 when she died. Oh, that's so sad too. But again, sometimes the Ouija board lies, so I'm glad I didn't get any like weirder or scarier than that. The next one is called The Shower Incident. I was at a sleepover and the board spelled out to go to bath, or go to bath. There was nobody in the bathroom at the time, so a couple of us walked over to the bathroom right by the door, and when we did, the lights flashed on and off a couple of times. The shower curtain and shower rod came flying off of the wall and flew into the wall across from it. 22 years later, none of us have an explanation. Ooh. I don't like when things like can move stuff outside of the Ouija board, and again, that's why you never follow instructions from a Ouija board, and that's why you never, like, I feel like every time that I do these kinds of videos, there's just one big PSA on like, don't do this. But that's why you never invite anything out of a Ouija board, and that's why you never take instructions from it. Number 4 is The Lesson Learned. My mom tells a story about how she bought a board at a thrift shop once. It spooked her bad enough to try to get rid of it. She tossed it into the dumpster, went to work, and it ended up back on her bed by the time she arrived home. It ended up back in her house every time she tried to get rid of it. Oh man. I hate the stories where it's like Ouija boards end back up in places they're not supposed to be. Oh man, Ouija boards freak me out unlike any other. Let me know if you guys are like that too, but I think it's because everyone has such crazy experiences with them because they're like the vessel that you use to communicate with spirits. So like they can move it in and out of the house, and they can pretty much do whatever their hearts desire. Number 5 is called The Disappearing Board. My sister and I met a spirit named Jack through our board. We asked him to send us a sign, and the next thing I know, the lights in the next room started flickering. The next day I was looking for the board, and it somehow ended up under my sister's bed, like I just said. Every time it was lost, it would always end up there. Several years later, we ended up burning it. Again, that's just so freaky. I wonder why spirits have so much power when you like use a vessel like that to talk about them. I feel like with like EVP sessions and stuff like that, maybe it's because like they weren't invited to move something across the board. Maybe they weren't invited to like physically do something. They were just invited to talk, if that makes sense. And that's why like tape recorders don't go missing, or like, you know what I mean? It's always like these little boards that have such spooky stories behind them. This one is called The Deep Breaths. One night, my friends and I were playing with a board in a notoriously haunted building at our college. Suddenly, my friend and I both felt like someone blew a heavy breath at the back of our necks. The next morning, we found out that a fire department was called shortly after we left because a fire had started in the exact same room we were playing in. We did not have any candles burning or do anything that could have started a fire, and the building almost burned down. That is weird. This one is called the handprint. A few years ago, I met the spirit of a woman in a haunted movie theater. After asking what happened to you, one of my friends screamed and pointed at a mirror where a foggy imprint appeared. In the legend surrounding the woman, the only evidence they could find of the guy who murdered her was a single bloody handprint on the glass mirror. Definitely they can give you signs like that, and that sounds pretty real to me. Number 8 is appropriately named the figure eights. I used a makeshift Ouija board using a piece of paper and a quarter. The quarter was making figure eights, zigzagging around, which is a sign a demon is present. And to make it worse, our fingers slid off of the board, but the quarter kept moving by itself. We had the apartment saged soon after. I've always heard like figure eights are a sign that a demon is present. If you guys have never watched it, my like Ouija board, my like why you should never play with a Ouija board video, I talk a lot about like things when they start going wrong, when there's signs that like demons are present, and it's usually like they'll make like waving kind of motions, almost like it's making like a rainbow, or like figure eights. And figure eights are never a good sign. This is called the Traveler. I worked at an antique store, and an old Ouija board would show up in various locations throughout the store. You'd lock up at night with the board in booth 17 on the first floor and open the next morning with it in booth 42 on the third floor. It was a big relief when someone finally bought it. Oh man, that one's freaky. For a minute there I was like, wait, I bought a Ouija board from a thrift store, but they only had one floor, so whew, couldn't have been me. I do wonder if I had bought mine from Uncommon Objects. I wonder if they had had any weird experiences. I should go back and ask, although no one would remember it. It's been like over a year. This is called the Unexpected House Guest. When my friends and I played, we asked if anyone was with us, and instantly the candles in the room started to flicker and one of them went out. Then we heard footsteps down the hall coming in the direction of her room, which then stopped right in front of her door. She only had a cat that was not capable of making those sounds, so we packed up and left immediately. That was 10 years ago, and I've yet to mess with a Ouija board since. A wise, wise decision. This one is called the Family Visit. I was at a friend's house one night and spoke to an older gentleman, and things got intense quickly. After asking him a couple of questions, I started to cry uncontrollably. As I kept asking questions, I came to find out I was speaking with my grandpa, who had passed away a couple months earlier. He told me that he was always watching over me, and to tell my mom that he said hello. Number 12 is called the Funny Ghost. That doesn't sound too inviting to me. I was playing with a board with some friends, and when nothing happened, we gave up, but we didn't remember to say goodbye. You always have to remember to say goodbye. Later that night, the light in my cousin's room began flickering. We were talking about how the flickering of the light had been from a ghost. So as a joke, my cousin goes into her room and asks, if there's a ghost in here, flick the lights out, or flick the lights right now. I swear to you, the lights flickered twice. We grabbed the Ouija board and asked the spirit to leave us alone. We did not forget to say goodbye this time. There are lots of dangers when you forget to say goodbye. Number 13 is the Makeshift Board. My friends and I asked the board dumb questions like who we were going to go to prom with, and then it started spelling demon, get out. I asked everyone to take their hands off of the planchette, and it moved by itself saying demon, get out over and over. The weird thing is the board spelled demon like D-E-A-M-O-N. So I'm not even sure how to correctly spell demon anymore. That sounds like something was trying to warn them to like stop playing because like something was in the room with them. Because I don't think a demon would tell them to get out. You know what I mean? I think the demon would just like do what demons need to do. Whew, that's freaky. 14 is this blast from the past. I met a spirit through my board named John Depp. Interesting. Who told us he was from our hometown and he had passed away sometime in the 70s. We did a quick search after ending the session, and all of the information he had told us was true. We were all amazed. My boyfriend has refused to touch a Ouija board since then. And number 15, and the last one, is this seriously haunted house. I was 12 and I tried to board out, and some seriously weird stuff has happened in the house after that day. Some of the activity includes the light in my old bedroom randomly turning off or on, the speakers on my old computer making a sound I can only describe as a demon or alien trying to come through, and me waking up in the middle of the night from a dreamless sleep, screaming my head off for no apparent reason. And those are the Ouija board stories I wanted to read to you guys today. Let me know down below if you've ever had a weird Ouija board experience, or what you think of Ouija boards in general. Do you think they're totally harmless, or do you think they are scary as heck and you would never play with one in your entire life? Personally, I have very limited experiences with Ouija boards, but I would prefer not to ever have another one, so I will stay away and not play them ever again. But I do think it's always interesting when you hear these stories, like, it's always such similar things. You know what I mean? It's always like the board goes missing. It's like, you know, loved ones will come through, or something will tell you get out, or all this stuff will happen after the Ouija board. It seems like really distinct patterns. Some of these were almost like Ouija board gone right stories in terms of like loved ones coming through, but a lot of them were like really eerie and make me never ever 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 even want to look at one again. Anyways, you guys, I love you very much. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and please, again, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It helps so much when you do. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!